Hello crafty friends, welcome to another White Scraps Wonders video. This morning I thought I would have a rummage through my white scraps bin and I pulled out 6 relatively large scraps of white linen textured cardstock. Now normally I would take the scraps as they are and tape them together so that I could treat them as one big piece of card, but today I decided to cut them down using a stitched rectangle die before sticking them together. And I did that for no other reason than I just fancied a bit of a change from the usual. So I placed my pieces of card face down on my glass mat, got them lined up and then stuck them together on the back with some low tack washi tape. Next, I took a piece of fun foam or craft foam and I used a biro to draw some wobbly blob shapes. I then used scissors to cut these out, trying not to get any sharp pointy bits. I wanted them to be smoothly rounded. And then I stuck the largest blob shape to an acrylic block just using some stick glue and inked up the foam with a Catherine Pooler ink. I believe this one was Hot Tub. I gave it a wee spritz with water just to give the ink something to move around in, stamped it on my card and then promptly dropped it ink side down. So rather than discard that mistake, I decided to embrace it. So I inked up my stamp again, gave it a mist with water, stamped it down, and then I did another second generation stamp. So every time I stamp, pretty much I think, I stamp once with full strength ink and then once without re-inking the stamp. And actually I rather like the way this whole thing turned out. It brought in a little bit more depth. Once I was happy with the hot tub stamping, I then stuck the middle-sized blob down to my acrylic block and inked it up with seafoam. I've decided to go for analogous colours today. That's colours that are near each other on the colour wheel. Hot tub is a blue-green, seafoam is a green-blue, and I also use tranquil, which is a blue, so they're all in that green blue region of the colour wheel, which means when they overlap, when they mix, they won't make mud, they will work together nicely. After I'd finished stamping with my tranquil ink, I dried the whole panel with my hairdryer because I wanted to spatter on some metallic paint and I didn't want that to diffuse into any wet ink. I wanted the spatters to be very defined. For my spatters, I used a mixture of rose gold and copper. I felt the rose gold wasn't strong enough and the copper that I had was too strong. So I did a bit of a mix of the two to get a coppery rose gold, if you see what I mean. Off camera, I dried that again. I removed the washi tape from the back of the card panels and then I used tape runner to stick them on to some linen textured card blanks. I did and ah for a bit about whether to put some die cuts on the front of these cards, but I thought no, I'm just going to stamp some sentiments, some nice big bold sentiments. And I had a rummage through my sentiment stash and pulled out some birthday sentiments that I haven't used for a while, but they are a bit of a favourite, so I indulged myself. I used my rule of thirds acetate grid and placed that over my card blank in my stamp positioner, and then placed this first stamp, which says "It's Your Day," centered on the right hand grid line but in the middle vertically. I treated my card with anti-static powder, stamped it in embossing ink, drizzled on some wow superfine metallic copper powder and then heated it with my heat tool. And I did something similar with the other 5 cards, choosing different sentiments from the stamp set and putting them in the most appropriate places where they would look their best. Some of the sentiments didn't stamp perfectly, so to fix that I used an embossing ink pen and went over the patchy areas. I sprinkled on some more powder and then neatened up any over powdered edges with a damp, very fine paintbrush, and then heated those with my heat tool and they turned out fine. One of the sentiments I did put on a bit wonky, so I decided to cover it up. I stamped the sentiment again on a piece of smooth white card, heat embossed it in the copper, die cut it out with its coordinating die, and then stuck it on the front of the card, covering up the wonky sentiment. I used some thin foam tape to give it a bit of a lift, and to help me wiggle it into place, I put some stick glue on the back of the foam tape so it didn't grab and hold on to the card straight away. I could move it and position it a bit. And there you have it, 6 cards made from 6 fairly large white scraps of paper. I hope you've enjoyed today's video and it's given you some more ideas on things you can do with white scraps. I do have a whole playlist of white scrap card videos. I shall leave a link to that in the video description below. If you have enjoyed the video, please do leave a thumbs up, let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more from me, do subscribe and ring the notification bell. And I will see you back here very soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.